Deep dive review of the discussion on Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, and NBA dynamics. This segment from Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins, alongside other analysts, explores the recent seismic shift in the NBA landscape, the blockbuster trade of Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. The discussion, rooted in both statistical analysis and emotional fan reaction, highlights the complexity of franchise decisions, player adaptability, and championship aspirations. 1. The shock factor. Trading Luka Doncic. The trade of Luka Doncic, arguably one of the best international superstars in NBA history, was met with widespread outrage among Dallas Mavericks fans. The analysts correctly identify the emotional attachment that fans have to their star players, emphasizing how this trade was not just a basketball decision but a cultural shift for the franchise. Bob Myers and Stephen Abe dissect the logic behind the move. While Anthony Davis is an elite talent, his history of injuries and the unpredictability of his long-term durability make this trade a massive gamble. Shams Charania adds that Davis has soreness in his groin, which, while not severe, already raises concerns about his availability. The analysts acknowledge the pain of parting ways with a generational talent like Doncic, and Perkins goes as far as saying the Mavericks must win a championship within the next 3 years to justify the trade. This is an ambitious yet necessary goal, considering Davis's and Kyrie Irving's advancing age. 2. Anthony Davis's impact in Dallas. Despite the controversy, Davis had a stellar debut, recording 26 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists before exiting with an injury. The analysts praise his ability to anchor the defense while showcasing offensive versatility, especially in his preferred power forward role. Perkins' colorful metaphor, taking them to Baskin-Robbins because he gave them all flavors, perfectly encapsulates Davis's skill set. He dominated in multiple facets of the game, demonstrating why he remains one of the league's premier big men. However, his fragility remains a focal point of the conversation, with the injury concern overshadowing his strong performance. A key theme emerges here. Can Davis stay healthy enough to make this trade worthwhile? While his talent is undeniable, his availability remains the Mavericks' biggest uncertainty. 3. The uncertain future of the Mavericks. The discussion raises a critical question. What constitutes success for the Mavericks after this trade? The knee-jerk response is a championship, but the analysts debate whether there is any short-term remedy to fan discontent. Stephen A. and Bob Myers note that the best-case scenario involves Davis and Irving meshing well together and leading Dallas on a deep playoff run. However, skepticism looms over Davis's injury history and the fit between him and Kyrie Irving. Additionally, the team lacks the depth that would traditionally support a championship core. Luka Doncic was not just an elite scorer but also a playmaker who elevated his teammates. The Mavericks supporting cast must now step up in a way they haven't before, making this transition even more precarious. 4. The Celtics-Knicks matchup and playoff implications. The conversation shifts to the Boston Celtics and New York Knicks, particularly focusing on Jason Tatum's growth as a playmaker and Jalen Brunson's impact. Tatum's evolution as a superstar. Perkins and Bob Myers agree that Tatum has transformed from a pure scorer into a more complete player, increasing his assists and improving his ability to facilitate for others. His ability to collapse defenses and kick out to shooters like Al Horford demonstrates the evolution of his game, making the Celtics even more formidable. One of the most insightful points made is regarding the Celtics' reliance on three-point shooting, 53% of their shots. While some teams live and die by the three, the Celtics' depth of shooters allows them to sustain this approach across a 7-game series. The analysts rightfully argue that a team as stacked as Boston is unlikely to go cold multiple times in a playoff series. Brunson's underdog rise. The Knicks' offense revolves around Big Body Brunson, a nickname Perkins champions due to Brunson's physicality despite his smaller size. The discussion draws parallels between Brunson and past undersized leaders like Isaiah Thomas, Tony Parker, and Stephen Curry. However, the historical trend suggests that it is exceedingly rare for a smaller guard to lead a team to a championship without a dominant co-star. Bob Myers questions whether Brunson alone can carry the Knicks to the top, but Perkins pushes back, arguing that New York's supporting cast is strong enough to alleviate some of that burden. This is a critical point. While Brunson is the engine, players like OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Dante DiVincenzo must perform at a high level for the Knicks to be legitimate contenders. 5. Injury concerns for both teams. Shams provides updates on injuries affecting the Knicks, particularly Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby. The Knicks' depth will be tested, and their title hopes hinge on key players returning in time for the playoffs. The theme of health dictating success ties back to the Mavericks discussion as well. The NBA has increasingly become a league where availability is just as crucial as ability, and the Knicks and Mavericks both face serious questions in this regard. Final thoughts. A high-stakes season. This discussion does an excellent job of capturing the high stakes of the current NBA landscape. The Luka Doncic trade represents a franchise-altering risk for Dallas, while Boston and New York continue their pursuit of Eastern Conference supremacy. Key takeaways. Dallas must win a championship within 3 years to justify trading Doncic for Davis. Anthony Davis looked dominant in his debut, but his injury risk looms large. Boston's reliance on three-point shooting is a strength rather than a weakness due to their roster construction. Jalen Brunson has elevated his game, but history suggests he needs a stronger co-star to win a title. Health will be the deciding factor for both the Mavericks and Knicks as they aim for deep playoff runs. Ultimately, this segment highlights how roster construction, star player health, and fan perception all intertwine in shaping the trajectory of an NBA franchise. The next few months will determine whether Dallas made a catastrophic mistake or an era-defining decision.